I'm not with the Ammach project anymore. The Ammach project was set up by Joanne Summerscales, and this analysis is a damning indictment of who she is and what her dangerous powers are and how they are a danger to all individuals who come in contact with her. We cover this at the end of part 1 and the start of part 2, and a separate YouTube version follows. Well, with media in Hollywood, how do you think that's overcome?
With media, sorry.
With media, TV,
yeah.
soap operas,
switch off. News. Why watch it?
Yeah.
Why? It's
I mean, with this
control.
Latest Channel 4 program, which trashed the Ammach project.
Yeah.
Which we could talk about briefly. One of the purposes of that was to trash everybody and make sure nobody comes forward.
Yeah, to keep people trapped in fear because they think they'll be ridiculed if they speak out. Absolutely, that was the purpose of it.
Which is
to conquer and divide as well.
Which is why the people who have spoken out are so brave, and we take.
Oh my God! Yeah, absolutely, brave souls, really brave souls. Because at the end of the day, deep down, everybody knew this would end up happening. And so people put themselves on the line for the greater good. Really important. Really, really important, special people.
Well, finally, just in this, to close this part, to establish you, anything further you want to say in the last 5 minutes? That needs to establish how you came here to talk to me. Or is that part 2?
Well, I believe you asked me to talk to you. You did, actually.
Well, it's a bit of both, you know. I find you so
okay, whilst Joanne... What were you going to say then?
I find you
You're going to feed my ego then?
I was going to feed your ego.
Yeah, I wouldn't ever have spoken to anything to do with, no disrespect to you, because it was never you I had a problem with, but Joanne, I knew from day one that she was trouble, and I wasn't prepared to come anywhere near.
This is a very serious statement. And
yeah,
Joanne's a very lovely lady.
No, she enchants people. That does not mean she's lovely. It means she's absolutely the polar opposite to what she tries to portray herself to be.
This is very serious.
Yeah, I don't say things lightly.
And what would you say to people who have been entranced, or how do they get out of it?
I think as soon as you become aware of what has been going on around you, then it breaks the spell.
Yeah, that seems to have happened, because since the program, for instance, a lot of people are now happening. A lot of things are sort of coming my way in terms of information.
Yeah.
But once bitten, twice shy.
Not necessarily.
In other words, it could easily happen again.
What you mean? Do you mean as in?
Well, I'm saying to those who have been bitten, so to speak, entranced.
Yeah.
Is it
no, I think it would make them.
Time, or?
I think that it should make them more aware of what to spot.
Now, really, just to close on this, because it's such a serious point. How bad is this?
The problem is...
How bad is this?
It's bad. It's really, really bad, because people are divided by it. People are either in denial to it even existing. And yes, she is definitely reptilian. Definitely.
Now, does reptilian mean a bad thing?
I was just going to say, not that is a bad thing, but it is bad if you're a negative entity, which she is. She's not here for the greater good. She's not here to help people. She's here to further her agenda, well, their agenda.
Who is they?
Well, whoever she's working for. Who does she work for?
Well, that's a very big question.
Yeah.
Well, finally, in the last minute, what would you say to the Ammach people? The people who...
I would say stop feeding into this. Stop attacking Miles, because he hasn't done anything wrong. She had him enchanted. He couldn't see that. Anyone who's been enchanted by her, it's not your fault. It's what she does. For those who could see and couldn't speak out at the time, because people you would have thought that we were trying to conquer and divide your group. And so it was impossible. You just had to wait until the time was right to be able to speak on this level about it. Because, awful situation, awful.
Okay,
But awful is what's kicking off now. And the fighting and all this stuff, it needs to stop, because it's still, she is controlling this completely. She's sitting back and she's watching this, and it's playing right into her hand. Has to stop. People have got to move on. It has to stop, break the spell.
Well, I'm thinking of using this little section as in isolation.
Yeah.
This is a quick warning. So I'm very grateful that you've said that about myself, but some people would argue I'm just putting you up to this to say this. What would you say about that?
I don't get put up to do anything. All I'm going to... Well, listen... I know that putting myself in a situation in this interview is not something that I would want to do for reasons. I mean, why would you want to speak when you know you're going to get a load of crap for it, basically? But for the greater good of the world and for humanity's awareness, and because I really want people to get over the fear and stop feeding into it, that is why I'm doing this. And I'm sick of seeing you get attacked. I'm sick of seeing the group fall apart, and I'm sick of seeing everyone turn on one another. It's just breaks my heart. I can't stand it, and that is why I'm speaking out. So...
Okay, well, thank you very much on this. This closes Basis 29 Part 1, and this is the little clip for YouTube to warn people about the circumstances. Thank you, and we'll come back in Part 2.
Okay.
Part 2, take 1.
I wish that you could all see him do that. It's so funny. Maybe
Well,
they can't. Are you on camera? Anyway, yes.
Yes, well, I'll get myself on camera for the later part, the last part, saying hello and goodbye. Okay, Nina, welcome back to Basis 29 Part 2. And at the end of Part 1, you were making very serious things about how one particular individual controlled Britain's premier, for a time, abductee mind control group called Ammach.
Yeah.
How do you think that worked? How do you think she was so successful at doing that?
Well, I think she entranced people. I think people, not everyone, a lot of people could see what was going on, and the ones of us that could, that knew we couldn't speak, had to keep a distance.
Right. Okay. Let's make that very okay. The ones who could but couldn't say, why? What did they see, and why couldn't they speak?
Because we saw that she was, well, basically, really in simple terms, that she was trouble, and you were a good man. But
well, I'm very grateful to hear that. But why was she trouble?
But we couldn't say anything to you because you would have thought that these were people out to like divide and conquer type thing. You were you were under her spell. You would not have believed random people that you didn't know coming up to you and trying to break her spell. It just wouldn't have happened.
Now, I want to get into the mechanisms of this spell from a mechanical point of view and from a mind control point of view. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, she would have used neurolinguistics on you. She used her eyes, obviously. Vibrational pull.
Are you talking like a sexual chemistry? Because I was very switched on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, every obvious tactic in the book, but she would have been so charming and nice about the way she did it, and she would have made you feel so special that you weren't, you just would have thought she was a special soul. You wouldn't have, and that's the whole point. That's the whole point of her game.
I mean, I have to say there were many very serious rows about.
Oh, I can imagine. Power struggles the whole time.
Usually during the Ammach update recordings.
I've seen a few, and anyway. Yeah, I mean...
But the most important thing was when there was virtually no empathy after the death of...
Yeah.
It was simply, her comment was, what a silly chicken, or what a...
I haven't seen all of the I watch bits and bats, but I haven't. I don't. To be honest, I can't watch stuff with she's in it. I've watched Your Basis things, but I have watched little bits and bats of stuff with Joanne in, but I can't watch her because I know what she's up to, and I know what she's doing. Now,
we are getting letters from people who have been able to say that, but I have to say that one individual who I just interviewed had a lot of information to tell me about her, and then he told me today he couldn't. Yeah, the actual recording we did, he was practically not saying anything at all.
So
but he did say he didn't want to say anything until Joanne gave him permission.
What? Oh my God. Well, it's not surprising. I mean, obviously, she's like a total programmer, controller. And obviously, she was there to infiltrate and do all this because you had access to all these people. And she wanted.
Well, she got the people. I mean, this is the point. She was filtering the people through the Ammach thing.
Of course.
And we're obviously saying stuff which is very serious.
Yeah.
And she could counter very seriously, obviously. Seriously.
If she wants to bring it on with me, she's more than welcome to. I'm not scared of her. I think it's disgusting what she's done, and I would happily say it to her face. I really hope you are listening to this.
Is there any mechanism of deprogramming that the people who have made contact with her? Is there any way they can be helped or deprogrammed? Or
the problem with this mind control kind of tactic is that people that are under her spell who refuse to see what's going on will get so angry with the person who's trying to point it out to them that they'll lash out at the person that's trying to help them and go all out to destroy them, which is what's been going on with you and key people. Absolute attack mode. It's very difficult when somebody doesn't want to hear it, when they're not ready to hear it. I'm a big believer that sometimes you need a shock to the system to get yourself to jolt out of that reality, but it doesn't mean that they're going to do so straight away. It might take months, it might take years, but at some point in time, hopefully, they'll start to realise, because you can only live in denial for so long, except having said that, some people choose to live in denial, but not usually people who want to seek the truth. They might be able to carry that on for so long, but at some point in time, I would expect that they'll realise that they've been under her spell.
I think it's time I actually sat in there. Could you just take that computer out of the way? I want to specifically talk about the Channel 4 programme. Okay, because we're talking about Joanne Summerscales, the Ammach project, the mind control of people in that, and the TV programme, it seems to be a very serious subject indeed. Yeah. So can you discuss this? What can we do about people who've been... it's my analysis that Channel 4 programme... It's my analysis that Channel 4 programme is actually used as a mechanism for targeting a certain demographic within society.
Yeah, absolutely.
And accessing them, at least in the first stage of switching them on.
Yeah.
And I'm very concerned that Joanne and whoever is controlling her has worked through the programme and Channel 4 to target a mass demographic and will continue to do as long as that programme is running.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right in everything you just said. It's kind of multi-layered, isn't it? It was done...
Let's go through the layers.
I was just about to. So...
I'm in trouble already.
Okay. I'm trying to concentrate now because it's all going scrambled. Okay, so there's the programme As It Appears, which of course was to make, to try and ridicule. That's like the most obvious one, of course.
But it was very successful with a lot of people.
Yeah.
It did get about 1 million viewers on the first showing. It was shown 28 times.
Yeah, they were trimming it in there, weren't they?
And we do feel that 2 documentaries were shot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We've been told that what wasn't in the first documentary will not go to anybody, but we strongly feel that will be sold on. That doesn't mean it will be, but that's what we feel.
Yeah.
Because we
Well,
don't feel
because
that
you know, at a future point in time, it will probably suit their agendas to change, don't they?
I
At
mean,
the moment,
very simply, they came and reshot stuff with me
yeah,
personally, and they didn't use the reshot material,
no,
or most of it. I think there was a couple of bits they used. But the important thing about this is why reshoot stuff if not they're not going to use it. Uh, how do we deal with those who have been activated or programmed
well,
with the first showing?
oh God, basically, it's a really difficult situation because so many have gone into attack mode, as in attack anyone who tries to help. Um, so, I mean, I personally think reach out with your heart to them, you know, have them in your thoughts, etc., etc. But it's incredibly hard to approach these people when they're in triggered attack mode, as in totally sucked into the programming layers which have gone on within their
And what
heads.
sort of layers are you talking about? Or can you describe any of that?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, like, some really bad things have happened, you know. Maria's lost her daughter. So she's obviously grieving, heart-stricken already, you know. And then she's been put on this programme and been, from her point of perspective, being ridiculed
Yes.
to the world. And it's incredibly easy for us to say, you know, need to move on. But she really does need to put the programme behind her, because while she's in the mode she's in now, she's not going to get better. She's only going to be running around in circles.
Yeah, with this point of view, I mean, I don't want to. She's already hurt enough and she's upset enough.
Yeah.
But I think from the purposes of editing, when this is actually shown, that's really in the past.
Now, I wonder why they're targeting her like this. I mean, anyway. And so, yeah, ask me another question then.
Well, just while I'm in front of the camera, ultimately, what do you think this whole process has been about? The whole Ammach project, because I was fired at Sky Television,
Yeah.
because I identified a series of very serious things going on.
Yeah.
Very soon after that, Joanne came along begging and
Yeah.
for this whole thing. Sarah Stanger, who is, we all know, she's recorded a whole lot of stuff. This blogs of Sarah Stanger. She came along as well. Seemed to have a very close knowledge of what I had written in emails. Now,
Yeah, well, that's
that
not surprising. Sarah Stanger, if she was telling her true story, would be an interesting case, but she's definitely out to input.
Sarah Stanger was going to
She
be
steals other people. She is a genuine person who's been through the programs, but she doesn't tell her story, quote unquote her story. She steals other people's stories and integrates them within her own bits of her own story. She is Stuart Swerdlow's half sister.
What do you mean by that?
I mean exactly what I just
From
said.
the cloning labs or what? Or
I don't.
natural?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Now, these are things you believe or know or have been told.
these are no. This is information which I was told, and really do believe it's true.
Right. Okay. So we have to make that qualification, because obviously these
Yeah.
people may not agree with
Yeah,
what's been
no,
said.
that's fine. But I do know that Stuart Swerdlow is poses as a deprogrammer, but actually he is a programmer, and anybody who is starting to get memories and realise involvement in this, really, you do not want to approach this man. He is there to keep you in control and to keep you where
Which person?
you're meant to be. Stuart Swerdlow.
Right. I mean, he's a Montauk all this
Yeah.
sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And Joanne specifically wanted to include a clip from him in one of the updates.
Yeah. Not
So
surprising.
are we saying that this is a Montauk project type of a thing we're dealing with, or what?
Well, I think Joanne was sent to, because you have all these contacts with people that were in specific programs, and so I think that is why obviously she's come to infiltrate, because and to try.
Well, she's done more than infiltrate. She took over ideas from the exopolitics people up in the Midlands. And we'll not go too much further than that, but essentially she's taken ownership of the Ammach project.
Oh, I realise that.
And
Yeah.
it's
It's despicable, isn't it?
so anything further really about this particular part?
Well, to be honest,
It's very disturbing, and it affects real people and real people's lives.
yeah.
But
absolutely.
the main thing is to stop this now and to
Yeah.
stop any further contamination and to rescue those individuals.
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously created havoc and so much fear and distrust amongst the community. It's so infiltrated at the moment. But
You mean there's more than just...
I mean, there's a lot of key people, as in, there's a lot of people who are feeding into this whole thing and keeping it going. And the people who are doing this know that they're doing this.
Now we talked about the Ammach project.
I'm
fiasco,
talking about
what
people
I call
amongst...
the car crash of the Channel 4 programme.
Yeah, I'm talking about people who are posting specific things, trying to have attacks at you, trying to keep the whole thing going on and on. It's just an absolute waste of energy, but it's not from the point of view that the energy levels that it's feeding off is the energy levels which they want to absorb from us.
Who's
So,
there?
as in, like, whoever it is that's in charge of all this stuff, I don't know exactly
fine.
who they
Right.
are, but I would say in this instance, then it would be that reptilian energetical field, but negative, not positive, obviously.
In other words, you want to make it clear just because one's a reptilian doesn't make you a
No,
bad person.
absolutely not, absolutely not. It's just like
And
any
the reptilians
race.
have had a bit of a hard press on
Yeah,
this.
big time, you know, and because they probably want everyone to think that just because someone's got reptilian DNA that makes them a bad person. It's really not the case, you know.
Okay, we've got that out of the way. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, very
what
briefly
was I
on this
gonna
particular
say?
subject, the Channel 4 programme,
Yeah.
what's its status? What's the agenda?
What I
It
wanted to
must be
say though
part-
about the energetic thing is, people are feeding them by getting sucked into that. It's it's really hard to explain. But we've got to be more aware of what we're doing and saying and what we're putting out there ourselves. Because if you want to consider yourself awake and aware, you can't get sucked into that negative level of energy. And
Yeah,
feed into
I'm
it.
very conscious of doing this on the Basis series. Maybe
Yeah.
they have too much fear stuff. It's peddling too
It's-
much, maybe other people's agendas. I'm
Well,
being used for
there's
a
a
trigger, for conveying trigger mechanisms.
There's a difference between being... It's fine to learn this and to know this, just don't get sucked into the fear side. Because if you get sucked into the fear side, then you are literally feeding that like particular like mainframe in the matrix type thing, you know?
Right.
So like I was saying before about chemtrails and everything, it's
Yeah.
really important to not get sucked into the fear. All we have to do is raise our vibrational frequency level. All of us raise
How do
above
people
it.
do that?
Well, have awareness, yes, but have awareness that we have self-control over
Yeah.
ourselves. We're in charge of our vibrational frequency. No one else is.
In other words, don't give your permissions away and take control of your permissions.
Yeah. Be really careful what you're watching. Be really careful
In what way?
you're thinking, what you're saying. Everything has power behind it. Every word, anything you look at, everything you do has some... And also, actually, really important, I say this, the power of intent is really the most important thing for anyone. Anything that you do, if you're doing it with the right intentions, with a good, pure heart, also, the more knowledge it is true that the more knowledge you have, with knowledge comes, like, when I say with greater knowledge comes greater responsibility, it's because the more that you know and the more aware you are, the more important it is that you keep control and do not feed into that fear, that you do not become like a victim of having the knowledge but in the wrong ways, you know?
Okay.
It's really important.
Well, just to round off the Ammach thing, what about people who've written into Ammach or have seen the programme? What do you say to them?
I really, 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 really hope that you can understand my point of view and what I'm saying. I really hope that you can see what's really been going on. And I really, really hope that all this attacking and mudslinging stops, because it's just getting everyone nowhere. It's just keeping everyone stuck going around in circles. And, you know, yeah, it's awful what happened, but we can't stay stuck there. We have to move on.
Well, there's one most important thing to close is that Joanne has moved on to this thing called Ammach checks, the childhood experiences. Yeah. I feel very strongly for it.
Now, of course, I mean, it's scandalous. Obviously, she's going to be programming children. Now, I was looking at the spelling of that and I saw something in it, but I can't think now.
Now, the thing is, we're accusing Joanne of terrible things here.
I'm not accusing her, as in accusing her. I'm saying it's because it's the truth. You can call it an accusation, but I don't think the truth is an accusation. The truth is the truth. If people don't like the sound of it, then...
I mean, I think it's very important to point out that if you wanted to be a childminder or have any kind of connection with children at school, it's a legal requirement that you are vetted.
Yeah.
And I don't see any vetting certificates for Joanne. And I would very strongly guard anybody else who wants to get involved with that not to do so.
Yeah, do not let your children near that woman. Do not let anyone is at danger around her, because she has the ability to enchant you. So it's really important that you don't get sucked into her web. Literally her web. You know, and she is aware of what she's doing. She isn't a puppet. She is aware of what she's doing. So that makes her even more dangerous.
Well, it's made her sufficiently dangerous that it's taken 2.5 years for anybody to come through. Is it because whatever happened to the Channel 4 programme, something broke, something was done, and is it because her attention has been shifted to other things?
I think the way... that's a good question. Yeah,
Because
I'd say this is the good that's come out of the Channel 4 programme, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because obviously everything has a cause and effect. And so, yeah, the programme happened and it was like a you know, what they made was the shambles.
It was a car crash, if I think.
Yeah.
But it was very successful in its target demographic, that is to say, young teenage, and from what I understand, young teenage boys.
Yeah. And also, so cause and effect, you know, finally people are seeing, because you know, obviously not everyone's thinking that Joanne's wonderful. A lot of people can see her for who she really is now. So thankfully, it's like woken people up to...
Yeah, I mean, I have to take full responsibility for the fact that I've helped keep this
It's not your fault. You were under her spell. You were totally enchanted.
Well, the thing about it is, how did that happen? I mean, are there any warning signs that anybody can see before they're trapped?
Well, yeah, I'd say if someone's like being overly interested in you and overly familiar from day one, and like, it's difficult, isn't it? Like, because what she'll have been doing as well will have been subliminal. She'll have been...
It took her 3 months to get me to do this.
Right. Free again.
Yeah. I mean, at the start of 2011, she came straight on board immediately. I'd left Sky.
Yeah, now that is a key thing here. Targeted the second that you left there.
Yeah, and I mean, now, Sky TV, as the manner in which their whole strategy was to completely destroy my professional career.
Yeah.
And that includes the BBC 6 months later.
Nice.
But we'll leave that out, and we'll I'm better behind the camera. So we'll have a little short break. That's enough about that and this about that. And we'll get on to your story and the important things you have to say.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I'm straight.